All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great week. We are back talking some fights. UFC Fight Night, Perth, Australia, the UFC is headed to, and that means 4 a.m. Eastern start time. Get your lineups in Friday night if you're going to be up. Being DGen, which I used to do for all these fights, it won't be this week. I know that for sure. A little newborn changes your life a little bit, but like we were saying a little before the show, wake up, feed the baby, watch some fights. Nothing better than that. But 13 fights, the magic number, or 12 is the magic number. 13 is just a cherry on top. There we go right here. Actually, I might have to zoom out. I'm excited for this one. I think it's a very solid DFS card. 10 of the 13 fights expected to finish. So we should get some violence, early morning violence, nothing better. How are we doing today, Big Marley?
I'm good. I don't know how excited I am to wake up at 4 a.m., but hopefully I'll wake up to a sweat that I am looking forward to for the rest of the card.
Yeah, so you won't be waking up either?
I doubt it. Nah, man, unless I just can't sleep. I'll probably wake up to make sure nothing was canceled. If I can't go back to sleep, then I'll start watching them. But 4 a.m. doesn't even exist to me, really, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I won't even, I don't think, be waking up to see if anything's canceled. It's so rare. If all the fighters make weight, I'm going to cross my fingers. And half the time anyway, if people are going to miss, they just let you know right after lock, right on the broadcast to start, and it's so annoying you can't do anything anyway. So watch, this is going to bite me in the ass, and I probably should. But
the last time it was like a super early 4 a.m. start was when we were in Michigan with the Ship It crew, and we got back in at like 3 a.m. I was like, oh man, dude, there's no way I'm waking up in an hour to see if anything's canceled. It better be good now.
For sure. I remember that. I was in Greece watching at like 2 in the morning or something like that. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. Any broad slate overview for you?
No, I think it's going to be a tough one, man. These 5 stars that I have are probably important ones to target, but picking the correct winner is going to be tough to get. And then you also have to hit the right combination as well. Another one where the main event isn't a must-have, but with 5 rounds definitely makes it interesting. Both guys have finishing power too. So I think it's a good DFS card. What do you think?
I think it's a phenomenal DFS card. Like I said, 10 of the 13 fights expected to finish. Also, only 3 favorites greater than minus 250, which means I do think we do see some dogs barking. And with so many fights expected to finish, a lot of these dogs have some like 100-point upside. If Kevin Christian wins, if Bryczek wins, if Sutherland wins, Gaziev wins, like they all can score 100, which is what you want for DFS. And I totally agree with you. Another main event that is fadeable, most definitely did not work last week. Aljo absolutely dominated 138 piece, but now we have 2 primary strikers in a fight where over 3.5 is favored. So kind of tipping my hand a little bit. We'll get there when we get there. But yeah, I think it's a phenomenal DFS card. Fingers crossed, all 26 fighters make weight, and then we are good to go. YSN, always good to see you. Hope everybody watching live, watching on playback, having a good day. All we ask, like button, subscribe button. Helps us out a ton, and I might as well get some marketing out of the way right here. Let me share this tab. If you have not been over to shippingnation.com, this is the homepage that we're looking at. As you can see, an all-access special. If you are playing all of these sports above, only $49 you can get for the first month, which includes SaberSim, a phenomenal deal. You just click this.
You just went out. I didn't know if it was me or you, but it looks like you got the mute button on your side.
My mic cut out. Let me get my.
There we go. I hear you though.
Okay, but now I'm back on my actual mic. When did I cut out? I don't know when I cut out, but let's see.
10 seconds
if
ago.
You want the banner, or if you want, or all right, our deal, $49 for the month. If you want this, you click on the banner, you get SaberSim, you get Discord, access to all of these sports above.
You happen again. Not a good start.
I don't know what's good. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to try one more time with my Yeti mic. I'm just going to have to go AirPods, and then we won't have to worry about that at all. But let me know. Just say that again if I cut out, all right? Because I'm not on the StreamYard screen. But if we're gonna screw this mic if it goes out one more time. The banner up above, $49 for the first month. Discord, SaberSim, access to all the sports. 5 days for $19 if you want to give us a try. SaberSim, Discord as well. Again, PGA Showdown's going on, MLB's going on, NBA playoffs is going on, NASCAR is going on, NHL playoffs, of course, MMA. So many sports. Phenomenal deal if you want to give us a try. But if you're just watching MMA and that is all you play for the year, single sport to the right, MMA, you can get in as low, less than $1 a day for all of our content. Just $20 more gets you access to SaberSim. And if you're here for the long haul, the annual, it gets only cheaper from there. So we'd love to have you. A lot of different options in different price ranges. All right, it doesn't look like I cut out quite yet. Let's get back to the stone. And let's go bottom to top like we always do. It's actually not going to be the first fight of the night. This fight was announced on Wednesday. I believe it's on the main card, though. But because I already had stuff in and breakdowns in, it was just easiest to throw it at the bottom. So, again, this fight won't be the actual first fight. It doesn't matter. All fights are independent when it's talking DFS. So, first fight that we're going to talk about of the night, we got Marwan Rahiki taking on Ollie Schmid. Minus 700 is Rahiki. So I'm glad these odds finally came out. Ollie Schmid plus 500. I'm not seeing any other individual prop besides under 1.5 at minus 180. And it opened minus 110. So the under took a lot of money. Rahiki opened minus 1,000 in this one. This line just opened like 2 hours ago. It's looking like a couple hours ago. So open minus 1,000, now minus 700. Second biggest favorite on the card. He was supposed to fight Jack Jenkins, who had to pull out due to injury. And in steps Ollie Schmid on short notice. This fight was booked on Wednesday. So, yeah, I mean, it feels like Rahiki or nothing. But I'll say Cody Durden, big underdog last week. Pretty similar odds to this one came through. So does Ollie Schmid have a chance to do that?
Yeah, totally different fights. Schmid stepping in on a couple days' notice off of a 15-second spinning back fist knockout. And that knockout was his only win against an opponent who had a win on his record. All of his other wins are against 0-win opponents. And I didn't see anything special with this kid. He has 2 spinning back fist knockouts. I think he's got a chance of getting another one of those. But, man, if he doesn't get a spinning back fist, I think he gets it. Probably hurt in the first, second round. Rahiki just looks like he's going to be so much better. He's an aggressive striker, and he's dangerous too. I just think that Schmid's probably not ready for the UFC, and Rahiki is going to come in there looking to kill him early. I do like Rahiki to get an early finish. $9,600 fair. I'm not going to play any Schmid. Even if I have 150 lineups, I will X him out for sure. I'll just know that I don't have to watch the rest of the card if he gets that first round spinning back fist knockout. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think he gets dog walked in this one.
Yeah, I'll be asleep if it does happen. I was busy during the Durden fight as well, and then I looked on my way. I was going to play some poker, and I looked, and I was like, fuck, Durden wins. I hardly have any. No shipping today is how I saw it, and it made it easier to not watch as many of the fights. But, I mean, Rahiki looks good. 8-0, all 8 wins by finish, 7 by knockout with Schmid. 4-2. I got to get these odds out. Let me refresh this too. Yeah, minus 700, 500. No inside the distance props yet, but we'll get 8-0 and 4-2. Schmid just, fought nobody. Doesn't look great. He's going to get walked in this one. Rahiki, probably round 1. I want to see what that round 1 prop is. I won't be surprised if it's like minus 110, minus 120. I think he gets him out of there in the first or second round. He is the second most expensive. But again, I'll tip my hand a little bit. Any Malkoun team can most definitely go to Rahiki, and you can leave 200 plus. 9,600 is a lot. With that being said, though, again, I think a lot of these dogs will be barking. Only 3 favorites, minus 250 or greater, which means a lot of lower tier fighters have like plus 165, plus 170 that are live to win. So you will be able to fit Rahiki, and the mid tier is pretty solid as well. So yeah, definitely Rahiki or pass in this one. Let's go to the next fight on the card. This one is one of the 3 fights expected to go the distance. Kody Steele minus 180 taking on Darmar Fan plus 155, plus 140 for this fight to finish. Steele plus 185 inside the distance, Fan plus 600. Take it away. I see you have a 2-star on this one.
Yeah, 2-star, but I am interested in the underdog. I don't think I want too much Steele with limited lineups. If I was making 150, then he's definitely in play. I think Steele is originally a wrestler, and he looks like he's fallen in love with his striking. On the striking, he just has to get in close. He's got some solid, powerful hooks, but he needs to get on the inside, and then Marfan is going to want to keep it at range while the fight's on the feet. And then if it is on the inside, Steele could look for just traditional wrestling. And then Marfan, his grappling's pretty solid himself, but he's kind of like a body to body, and then he'll take you down that way. He'll just get in the clinch first, body to body, and then slam you down. It's kind of different, kind of awkward, but I kind of like it. And I think it could have success here against Steele. I just think that if Steele wins, it's got to be an early knockout for him to really pay off that value. I don't think he'll have enough wrestling success for him to score enough minute wise. If Dom Marfan wins, I think he will score over 10x. No matter how he wins, I think it'll be at least 74 points with 95-point upside. So I am going to pick Marfan to get the upset, and I will be overweight to him. I'll probably move it to a 3-star just because I am interested in him. It's I put it as a 2-star because I'm not interested in the Steele side.
I totally agree with you on this fight. It's supposed to go to the distance, only 1 of 3 fights. Fan, I'm going to play some at 7,400, like you said, because he has wrestling upside. And he also has taken money this week. We've seen a good amount of line movement, and we'll talk about it again as we go through. I always put these odds up on Monday or Tuesday. I did this week on Monday. It was minus 210 Steele on Monday. Now it is minus 180. So Fan, a decent amount of buyback. So I'm going to play him at 7,400. Now, I will say, I think there's plenty of other dogs that have more upside and fights heavily favored to finish. But if a lot of favorites win on this card, a lot of these underdogs can score like 10 or 15 or 20 just because there's a lot of minus 600, minus 400, minus 800 expected to finish. So if the favorites are winning, the dogs aren't going to score. Whereas Fan, if all favorites win on this card, Fan could be one that's on the optimal in a loss just because it's supposed to go the distance. He can get takedowns, and it could be close that way. I'm not playing for that, but that also shows 75 in a win could be enough on certain cards. So I'm going to play Fan for that reason. Not my favorite underdog by any means, but a live one that's taking money. And for Steele, plus 185 inside the distance is solid, but it's mainly, I'm going to pull out your card. What's his round 1 prop? Like you said, I think he probably needs an early knockout too. Plus 450. That's like 18%. I think his ownership will be below 18%. We have that currently right now. He just has to get squeezed. If we look at who he's priced around, Cam Rowston, my 8,900 for 100 more, going to be more chalky. Junior Tafa, Tuivasa, Ben Johnston, Brando, Pericic, all lower price than him. They're all going to be more popular. Like if you go from Kody Steele 8,800 and just drop to Ben Johnston and leave 300, I think that lineup will probably be more duped than a Kody Steele team that leaves $0. So in really chalky teams, I think Kody Steele is fine. But again, if you're playing multiple teams, you're playing his round 1 prop. If his round 1 prop, which it is greater than his ownership, which I think it will be, it's hard not to have any interest in him. So yeah, this fight's expected to go the distance, but that's because the Fan doesn't get finishes. Plus 185 for Steele is pretty good at 8,800. Plus 600 for Fan inside the distance, which is why this fight is expected to go there. So Fan's my preferred side. I prefer some other dogs, but at ownership for Steele, I think this is a very low-owned fight where I can make a case for both sides. Keep it rolling. Next fight on the card, Jonathan Micallef taking on Themba Gorimbo. We have Micallef minus 230, Themba plus 195, minus 155 for this fight to finish. Micallef plus 100, Themba plus 450. I mean, kind of a copy and paste in the sense of like for Themba and Fan. If Themba wins, I mean, you can see right on the stone, 5.07 takedowns per 15 minutes. Like I prefer him to Fan when we're talking ceiling, and he's 400 cheaper. But obviously the odds, he's more of a dog than is Fan. I will say Themba also has gotten some buyback. Minus 285 was Jonathan on Monday. Now he's only minus 230. So Themba getting some money. It is expected to finish. And yeah, Themba wants to wrestle. So easy click there. Curious to hear your take on Jonathan.
Yes, it's really similar to that last fight where I would worry about Micallef's score in a win if he's not going to get a finish here. I think that he could win minutes, but it'd likely have to be in the striking because Gorimbo is going to want to wrestle. And if he is having success wrestling, I just don't think Micallef is going to be winning minutes off his back. I think he could submit Gorimbo, but $9,200 a tough price to pay on this card. I would rather go to other people. I'm not going to X him out, but I just would rather get to other guys. And then Gorimbo, I don't feel good about him winning, but if he wins, he could score 100-plus points on this card, 110-plus points where you need Gorimbo to cash. So preferred play is definitely going to be Gorimbo, but I don't really trust him that much to be able to wrestle successfully for 3 rounds. So I picked Jonathan to get the win, which makes me kind of not care for the fight a whole lot. But Gorimbo or pass is kind of how I'm looking at it.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad these fights were back-to-back right next to each other. It's so similar. Like, Jonathan's going to be pretty low-owned in the upper tier, too. If you wanted me to do that same thing, Cam Rowston's probably going to be more chalky for 300 less. Urseg's not going to be owned for 100 more, but then there's Salkild and Rahiki, definitely going to be higher owned for more. And then again, the Tafa, Tuivasas, Johnston of the world will all be more popular. I do think Micallef will be more popular than Kody Steele will be. He's plus 100 to finish. How many takedowns? Like, the thing is, Themba wants to wrestle. Jonathan's good on the mat. He's good submission guy. Can he, like when Themba tries to wrestle, just get his own takedowns, get a reversal, be on top? I think we kind of want that / need it at 9,200. So how much takedown, control time, reversal upside does he have in this one?
Yeah, I think that's a tough prop to set. I would want to look at that before I'm setting my lineups for sure. I haven't looked yet, but since he is that big of a favorite, I would guess he's a 1.5, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, plus 100 to finish is pretty solid. If we're doing that round 1 stuff, or like his round 1 prop, plus 275. Plus 275 comes out to 26%. Again, I think that will be, he has a better chance to win in round 1 than I think his ownership will be, which is always appealing. And I want to say open plus 285, so little money on the under. Again, I'm going to play some Jonathan and chalkier teams in a vacuum gun to my head. I'm going to say he's not optimal more times than not in a win, but we play a salary-based game, an ownership game. When you win, how much do you win? Kody Steele and Micallef both will be pretty low owned as pivots in the upper tier, where their round 1 prop is higher than their ownership. And again, not all round 1 wins for them will be optimal, but if you're telling me they're going to get a round 1 win, I'm going to take a chance at pretty low, relatively low ownership to get different on this card, especially because I will be eating plenty of chalk fights as we get there. So what you think you're more likely to be more, if you had to be double the field on Micallef or Kody Steele, which one would you pick? Obviously we don't plan on being double the field on either, but if you had to make
Micallef, actually, I picked Marfan to win, so Micallef.
Yeah, I would pick Micallef there as well. All right, let's go to a fight that, it's really hard to get away from, a chalkier fight. Ben Johnston, minus 140, taking on Wes Schultz, plus 120, minus 600 for this fight to finish. Johnston, minus 110 inside the distance. Schultz, plus 150. Another fight that's got some line movement, as you see on Monday. Johnston was minus 163, now finds himself as a minus 140 favorite. Many of you will probably remember Wes Schultz because he was fighting that penis guy a couple months back. The first fight of the night, we absolutely wanted to load up on it. Penis was the striker. Schultz was the wrestler, grappler. If he couldn't get to the mat, which he didn't, 2 knockdowns, first round win for Penis, absolutely went off. Now Schultz is getting a little different matchup, though. 2 primary grapplers. They're actually both more likely to win by submission than KO. Schultz by sub plus 250, by KO plus 515. Johnston plus 215 by sub, plus 285 by KO. And I would say most of those, I think, are probably ground and pound, but a fight that's minus 600 to finish in the mid tier with 2 primary grapplers. I mean, what more can you ask for? Give me a lot of this fight.
Yeah, I don't think Ben Johnston is really a primary grappler. Most of his MMA wins are submissions, but just against low-level opponents. I think he is originally like some sort of kickboxer or maybe Muay Thai fighter or something like that, but he has a striking background. So this matchup, I see this as a striker versus grappler matchup where Johnston is going to want to keep the fight on the feet. He's not going to want to grapple with a real grappler in Schultz, but Schultz, again, that's his only real chance. I didn't think Johnston's striking was that good, but in this matchup, he should look pretty decent. But on the ground, I think Schultz could dominate. So my preferred play is going to be Schultz. I just wasn't impressed with Johnston, and he's also not a guy who's like one punch and you're dead type of power. He's just a kind of long, rangy kickboxer guy, and he was jumping on like guillotines, just like legs aren't even wrapped around. He's just grabbing a neck and they're tapping out within 2 seconds. Like I was just really unimpressed. Since he has the minus next to his name, I was like, there's no way I would lay juice on this guy. Give me Wes Schultz as my pick. I thought about betting Wes Schultz. I'm not against it now, but I think my preferred way to go about it is just be overweight on the Wes Schultz side for sure. And then maybe be around the field on Johnston because Schultz is pretty bad. He could get knocked out once or twice in the first round and finished. Or I mean, I doubt Schultz gets submitted. I'd be pretty surprised if Schultz got submitted by this guy, to be honest with you. But yeah, give me Schultz as one of my favorite underdog plays.
Yeah, I like Schultz a lot too. So you're surprised to see Schultz or Johnston more likely to win by sub than KO?
Yeah, I mean, when you said that, I was shocked. Yeah, but I mean, if you're just looking at his record, it makes sense.
He's more likely to win. Like he's more likely to win by sub than Schultz is to win by sub. It's actually the most. It's the most likely prop on the slate is Johnston to win this fight by submission.
Interesting.
So interesting there. But so that open plus 210, now it's plus 215, whereas Johnston by KO open plus 375, now plus 285. So some sharp money. Like you don't know if it's sharp or not, but it's moving. It's moved quite a bit, almost $1. So people are hitting that KO prop, like you said. I'm team Wes Schultz. If I had to pick one, $800 savings goes a long way. He wants to get it to the mat. He's taking money. Just a lot going in his favor. But Johnston at 8,500 is minus 110 to win. Round one props in this one. Johnston plus 215, Schultz plus 325. And both have taken money. Johnston open plus 260 in round one. Again, now plus 215. Schultz open plus 360 in round one. Now plus 325. So a lot of money coming in on both guys to finish. On the under, I love this fight. A phenomenal mid-tier fight. To target any Prates or Jack Della team can easily go to Wes Schultz. And I think Wes Schultz has more upside when it's all said and done right there. Let's go to the second of three fights expected to go the distance. Colby, Thicknesse, minus 135, taking on Vince Morales, plus 115. Plus 195 for this fight to finish. Morales, plus 325 inside the distance. Thicknesse, plus 475. Yeah, I do not want to play a mid-tier fight that's expected to go the distance. Unless you think one of these guys are getting 5+ takedowns, which I think, I don't know, Morales maybe. I don't see any of them doing it. I think it's a 15-minute striking match for the most part, and this fight busts. So no thank you on my end. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to play it as if it's a 1-star because I'm going to X both of these guys out and hope that the winner scores with a 60. I'm going to keep it as a 2-star, though, because I usually keep my 1-stars as I'm sure this will go the distance and it's going to be a bad score. But it wouldn't shock me if either one of these guys put up 10x and you need them for the optimal. So at their prices, I'll keep it as a 2, but I don't want to have to play a Morales lineup because of my FOMO where I put in a Thicknesse lineup. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to just drop that 400 and throw money into the pot. So I'm just going to not play either one of them and hope that if I have to target the mid-range, it's the Johnston and Schultz fight or the main event, and it's not this one. So I'm going to X this fight out just to make it easier on myself building lineups. Morales probably my preferred play because he's $400 cheaper. I did pick Thicknesse to win, though, just because Morales is like 0-5, 0-6 in the UFC. And I just think it's a bad fight where both guys are going to have their moments. Either guy could land 1 or 2 takedowns here or there, but I think it's mostly going to stay on the feet and not score well. And I think that Thicknesse is the higher volume striker. So I picked him to get his hand raised 29-28, but I don't think that'll be enough in DFS.
You mentioned like 10x. I mean, what are the odds you think 10x, 79, 83? Like, What are the odds that's optimal on this card? I'd put that very, very low.
Yeah, on this card probably not, but also I mean these five-star fights I have probably going to need them, but also any one of them could just suck shit for 15 minutes. So you never know on a card like this where it's a lot of low-level guys.
Fair enough. But yeah, we're talking mid-tier like this fight is in. We talked about the Johnston Schultz fight, phenomenal, -600 to finish. We're going to talk about Brando and Gaziv, -800 to finish. Main event, -215 to finish. I'm definitely crossing this fight out in 20 and below. If I had to pick a side, though, it would be Vince Morales. He's 400 cheaper, and he's more likely to win by finish. But no thank you for me. Really curious to hear your take on this next one. I mean, I hate seeing -1,000 plus. Jacob Malkoun, -1,100. Gerald Meerschaert, +700. -225 for this fight to finish. Malkoun, -200. Inside the distance, Meerschaert, +850. Malkoun in round one is +200. I mean, anytime Malkoun's got a minus next to his name to finish a fight, you know it's bad matchmaking. I will say shout out to Malkoun. He's been my boy. He cashed big for us against Torres Finney last time out. Just absolute domination. Very few wrestlers versus wrestlers are going to beat Jacob Malkoun, in my opinion, the beast. But now we're talking $9,800. Really curious to hear your take in this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think Malkoun has the highest ceiling on the card. If he just wants to go out there and do Malkoun wrestling, I think he could land, either 3 takedowns and control the fight for 14 minutes, or he could land 8+ takedowns with a bunch of strikes and score 130 points on this card. I also think he could be worried about the only way he loses is getting submitted, so he just doesn't look for as many takedowns, and he strikes with Meerschaert. And if he doesn't knock out Meerschaert early, then $9,800 is going to be too much to pay off. But I think he could also knock out Meerschaert in the first round. I have been on Meerschaert as an underdog in a lot of his fights in the past, but I just think that he's done at this point. He doesn't really have any motivation. He'll probably go in there, accept takedowns if that's what Malkoun wants to do. But if he gets hit hard once, I think he'll just drop and look for a way out. So I do like Malkoun if I can afford it. But if I can't afford it, I'm totally fine with Rahiki for $200 less. And then there's a lot of guys that are cheaper as well that we could go to as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with Salkill for 400 less. Kind of like what you said. I just don't. The one path Meerschaert has in this fight is like for him to get taken down and throw up a submission. So why would Malkoun do that? Like he can just outstrike him, probably get a knockout. Meerschaert has no chin when it's all said and done. So I'm trusting Malkoun, who is a smart fighter. Fight smarter. He is a smart fighter. I expect him to fight smart, probably get a knockout. He knows he probably can't get too many knockouts in the UFC too. He did get Petrosky on the really weird one, but even a first-round knockout at 9,800, I would bet against that being optimal more than likely. Again, it can be 3 knockdowns, and of course you want that, but there's a lot of upside in the upper tier this week. 9,800 is a big boy price tag, and he's only +200 to win in round one. If he does want to put on the wrestling shoes and just show he's a beast on top and he can stay safe, yeah, like you said, he has the most upside on the card if he chooses that path. I'm going to hope he doesn't, though, and I plan on being underweight. Definitely not going to play any Gerald Meerschaert, though. This line says it all. All right, next fight on the card, definitely a great one to talk about. And target, Junior Tafa -210, Kevin Christian +180, -600 for this fight to finish. Tafa -155 inside the distance. Christian +215. As you can see on Monday, Tafa was -190, now -210. So he has taken some money. How do you see this fight going?
I think it's going to be a knockout from Tafa or a submission from Christian, or it's going to be a real shitter, and I'm going to lose a lot of lineups because I want to be all over it in hopes that it's going to be a first-round finish. Both of these guys suck. Tafa is a decent striker, but he has to keep it on the feet. Christian's tall as shit, but I think that's going to work against him. I just think he's going to be like tall man defense. He gets knocked out. But if he can just fall onto Tafa, get Tafa on his back, then Tafa's like a fish out of water, and he's got nothing. Not that Christian's a good grappler, but he's way better than Tafa, and he could submit him in the first round. So I love those kind of fights for DFS. I'll be all over it. Give me Tafa for the knockout because I think Christian is just really not good. But you got to have exposure to him because he could break the slate. And hopefully him being not good takes away from his ownership as well. But minus 600 inside the distance sounds about right to me. It's just that both of these guys do suck. So it could be a horrible fight if it gets out of the first round.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't have too much more to add. I think Christian is terrible, but at the end of the day, he's only plus 180 in a fight, minus 600 to finish. And I do think his ownership stays in check, and I think Tafa gets a decent bit of ownership. So for that reason, leverage, good inside the distance prop, cheap. If he wins, he's going to score. But I think he probably is staring up at the stars, waking up after being knocked out when it's all said and done. 8,700 Tafa feels very strong with a lot of upside too. So a fight I'm going to target both sides, like a lot of these fights coming up don't even really have a preferred side at ownership. I just think it's a great one to target. But yeah, I think Tafa does knock him out as the better striker. We'll keep it rolling. Next fight on the card, Cam Rowston minus 160, Robert Bryczek plus 140, minus 210 for this fight to finish. Rowston plus 115 inside the distance, Bryczek plus 240. Another fight with a decent amount of line movement. Rowston was minus 200 on Monday, now only minus 160. Break this one down. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think this could be. I don't know. I don't really know on this one. It could be a 2-star. It could be a 4-star. It just depends on what we get from Rowston. I think if this is a striking match, then I'm more interested in Bryczek. I think that he is the more dangerous one-punch striker. I think it could be really close minute-to-minute wise in the striking. Both guys could get a knockout, but I just think that Bryczek is a little bit more dangerous overall if it was a 15-minute striking match. And when I was looking at this fight, Rowston was around minus 300. Now he's minus 170. So lots of money coming in on Bryczek. So I think that ownership comes along with that as well. But if I was Rowston's coach, I would just want him to grapple. I think that he could look like a minus 200 or minus 300 favorite if he is going to go out there and grapple, or at least grapple early and keep Bryczek guessing on what's coming the rest of the fight, and that'll make the striking easier as well. So my preferred play is going to go against the line movement and pick Rowston in this one. He could get a knockout. He could get a submission. But he could also score 65 points, whereas Bryczek at 7,300 could knock him out, score 95 plus points, and you just got to have him.
So you're picking Rowston, but what would you say your preferred play is for DFS? Because it sounded the more you were talking that maybe it is the guy you're picking against for the price.
So my preferred play is Rowston, but okay. I'm worried about not only picking against Bryczek, but not having enough Bryczek in my lineups because I think he could just ruin me out of the gates if he knocks Rowston out in the first round. I mean, that kills off all my Rowston lineups. But if I don't have Bryczek and he's on that optimal lineup, I would just really be kicking myself. So I think I'm just going to end up hedging more than I want to on the Bryczek. So I think, all right, what I want to say is this is like a 3-star fight for me, but I'm probably going to play it as a 4-star just as my hedges on Bryczek.
Okay, that makes sense. My preferred play is Bryczek. A lot of it has to do with the line movement, like you said, but it's also $1,600 difference. Even if somehow Bryczek wins a 78-point decision, which I don't think is the most likely, he's live to be optimal at 7,300 if a lot of favorites win, like we talked about. Whereas Rowston, he's competing with a lot of high ceiling guys in the upper tier. I also, looking at the inside of the distance prop, I just want to make sure I get this right before saying it. I believe his has gone the wrong. It was plus 115 at open. Then when I saw it was plus 105. Now it's back to plus 115. Whereas Bryczek open minus or plus 260 to finish, then went to plus 270 and now plus 240. So a lot of line movement in this one. And like you said, Rowston open minus 300 in this one, and Bryczek has continued to take money. So Bryczek, a good striker. He is my preferred play. Rowston is another somewhat pivot in the upper tier. Who would you rather play, Steele or rank them? Micallef? You already have Micallef over Steele, so Micallef or Rowston?
Rowston over both of them. And you were saying that he will be more chalky, but the way the line's been moving, it's just been consistently against him. And if it keeps moving, I think his ownership will be fairly low because of it.
No, I think it'll be pretty low. I said Rowston will be chalky?
Chalkier than Steele and Micallef, I think you were saying.
Yeah, I do think he will be more than Steele for the fight to finish is inside the distance prop. Maybe not Micallef. I don't know. The 300 maybe. I think it'll be pretty close. I think you're kind of looking at the 3 pivots and then Steve Urseg when we get there later, but it's clear that where the ownership's going. I don't think any of those guys will be too popular when it's all said and done. All right, little just a 2-second break. Appreciate everyone hanging out again, watching live or watching on playback. We appreciate you. Do not forget, 4 a.m. Eastern start time, Saturday morning with us in Perth, Australia. Set your alarms. Get your lineups up Friday night, whatever it may be. I'm probably going to get up most of the content tonight. Maybe projections, ownership, maybe tomorrow. Maybe get it all up tonight or cores maybe later tomorrow. But we'll at least have the slate plan and the tier rankings up for everyone that wants to dive in a little early, but very early start time. So make sure to not forget to get your lineups in. Next fight on the card, definitely a great one to target again. Tuivasa minus 220, taking on Louie Sutherland plus 185, minus 325 for this fight to finish. Tuivasa minus 135 inside the distance. Sutherland plus 275, in round 1 plus 190. It's like, man, Ty's been so bad. It's like, who can the UFC give him to get him a dub in front of his crowd? Let's go to the 10-5 Louie Sutherland. I mean, yeah, Ty is taking some money. Another story of this slate, minus 180. He was Monday. Now he's minus 220. The fight is heavily juiced to go the distance, but the under is taking a little more money. It was minus 400 on Monday. Now minus 325, but 8,600, 7,600, minus 325 for the fight to finish. I think the winner score is good, more than likely, but yeah, I mean, it could bust like you talked about. Ty's last fight didn't score.
True. Yeah, and I mean, 6-fight losing streak for Tuivasa. The UFC really wants to keep this guy around. Sutherland is taking this fight on short notice. They tried to give him Sean Sharaf or whatever his name is, like the worst fighter in the UFC. They really want this guy to win so bad. So when he pulled out, they're like, oh my God, who else can Tuivasa even beat in the UFC? So they're giving him Sutherland, and people are actually betting on Tuivasa to win. So I'm rooting for him, man. Hoping to see a shoey after this one. I do hope he gets a knockout in the first round, and he will score if that's the case. But neither one of these guys is going to score well minute to minute. And if either one of them does score well, it would be Sutherland by getting takedowns and staying in top control, possibly even finishing Tuivasa on the ground. So, yeah, it's just a great fight to target either way, but another one that you just got to worry about if it makes it out of the first round. Both guys going to slow down, and it could get real sloppy, just like Tuivasa's last fight. But if he doesn't win this one, you got to cut him at this point. I mean, it's wild, but go Tuivasa. One more.
Yeah, I agree. Tuivasa, my preferred side, but this fight's very similar, in my opinion, to the Junior Tafa Kevin Christian fight. Tuivasa and Junior Tafa both want to strike. I think Sutherland, if he gets it to the mat, maybe can have a little success, but I think more than likely he's going to stand and bang and try and knock out Ty too. But great fight to target. 5-star, could not agree more. It is minus 325 to finish though, so the over is taken a little bit of money. Let's go to the most likely fight to finish on the card, a mid-tier fight. Brando Pericic minus 130 taking on Shamil Gaziv plus 110, minus 800 for this fight to finish. Pericic minus 135 inside the distance. Gaziv plus 160. Pericic in round 1 plus 165. Gaziv plus 275. I love this Pericic guy and how he fights. He just comes forward and wants to throw bombs, and I'm hoping he does the same because either he's going to knock him out or he's going to get knocked out. Two heavy-hitting guys. This fight under 1.5 is minus 200. I mean, this is, if I had to pick one fight to be optimal on this card, this would be the fight I would pick if a gun was to my head. 8,400, 7,800. I think it finishes in the first. Don't have too strong of a lean. Any Pericic team can be Gaziv and save Gaziv, and save 600. I see you have more stars on the Gaziv side, so I take it that is who you're picking.
Yeah, just because he's the underdog, I think that both of these guys could crash in early. Pericic, what's his name? What are we calling him?
I'm calling Pericic, but I could be totally
Pericic.
wrong.
Yeah, I think he is the better striker, probably more dangerous one punch power. But Gaziev was a similar style when he came into the UFC. He was just a blitz in early, knock guys out, but he would also go for takedowns too on the regional scene in the first round. And I think if he takes down Pericic in the first round, who knows what that guy could look like off of his back. So I'm just going to be on the underdog, who I think has more ways to win this fight. I do think it probably ends early, but another one that if it makes it out of the first round, I would definitely be worried about being all in on this fight. So I'm not going to be all in on any single fight, but I want a good amount of this fight. Off the top of my head, I would think I want maybe 45% Gaziev, 35, 40% Pericic, something along those lines.
Yeah, I'm not going to make a rule to be all in just because like 98 might not be enough from Brando. I mean, I would take it for sure, but there's just 10 of the 13 are expected to finish. There's a lot of big inside the distance props on this slate. So I'm expecting a high score. I'll take 98 all day from the mid tier. If I had to go all in on one fight, it would be this fight. Don't have a strong lead on the side, though. If there's a big ownership gap on either side, like if you think Gaziev's like 8% higher owned, I'd prefer Brando. If it's about the same on both, to be honest, I would just want to get overweight on both and just hope it finishes. But Gaziev being 600 less obviously has appeal there, and you can easily leave the 600 from Brando right to Gaziev and not give up any upside for sure. All right, couple fights left. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out. Talk about line movements. Holy moly, this one has been crushed. Steve Erceg minus 185, Tim Elliott plus 160, plus 170 for this fight to finish. Erceg plus 245 inside the distance. Tim Elliott plus 525. So Steve Erceg open minus 250. Later that day was minus 450. And then when I checked the odds on Monday when I put these up, he was minus 355. Now, a couple days later, it is minus 185 plus 160. This has me going all the way to the Tim Elliott side. That's a whole lot of line movements. And man, when Tim wins, he's a great DFS scorer for DraftKings. Averages 3.71 takedowns per 15 minutes. I don't see myself clicking Erceg. He would be the one that I'd fade up top if I had to just choose one. And I think Tim Elliott is a very strong play at 6,900. This is the third of 3 fights expected to go the distance. And yeah, like I said, I mean, I said it earlier, if every favorite one on this card, Tim Elliott, I think, would probably be the most likely to be optimal in a loss. A, because of his price tag, because it's supposed to go the distance, and because of his fighting style. So yeah, I like Tim Elliott quite a bit in this one. I do not see myself playing Erceg. What about you?
Same. I'm going to X out Erceg. I do think he's the better striker. Can keep it on the feet long enough to win, 29, 28. But 9,300 is just too much to pay on this card, especially. So I'm going to X him out even with 150 lineups. And the line movement is going to make me like Elliott more than I did before. But also, like, to counteract that, he's going to be so much more owned than he was before, and that makes me want to keep it as a 2-star and kind of be a little bit underweight on Elliott, fully fade Erceg, and hope that Erceg does win. But if Elliott wins, man, it's going to be wrestling heavy, a high pace, and he's going to put up a pretty good score. So you can't fade somebody like him if you're MMEing. I'll play this as if it's a 5-star Elliott, 1-star Erceg, but I can't put a 5-star on an underdog who I don't even think is going to win. So
yeah, you can.
I put Erceg as my winner. I'm just not going to play any of them. And I hope that he ruins a good amount of the field if Elliott's going to be chalky.
I'll put the 5-star Elliott, 1-star Erceg for myself, but you do make a good point. All that line movement, it comes with something. It comes with ownership, and ownership is very important in the game that we play of DFS. So it's still going to make – I'm going to play tons of Tim Elliott. When I play Tim Elliott, maybe I'm fading the main event. Maybe that's when I'm playing Micallef or Rowston or maybe even Steele, which I don't love. Yeah, just know what you're doing. If you're loading up on Elliott and a lot of these 5-star fights that Big Marley has and you think you're chalky, leaving very little money, that's when you make a pivot to one of those people that we mentioned earlier that are pretty low owned. But yeah, Tim Elliott going to get elevated ownership, but it might not be high enough. is how I see it. So I'm curious to see where this line keeps going if it does keep moving in his direction. 2 fights left. Quillen Salkilled -500 taking on Beneil Dariush +375. -500 for this fight to finish. Salkilled -300 inside the distance. Beneil +550. Salkilled in round 1 -120. I guess this is the one that's more like, can Beneil do what Cody Durden did last week? Because at the end of the day, Filo was a bigger favorite than Salkilled is. And yeah, we saw what Durden did. And if Beneil wins, he does usually score. I mean, it's tough for me to click that name, but man, if he wins this fight, like Tim Elliott's 100 more. I mean, Beneil might be 7% and Tim Elliott could be 30%. Like you could see a really wide difference. I think Salkild's the real deal. Very well-rounded, 10 years younger. You're going to play any Beneil if you had 20 teams or less.
20 teams or less. I doubt it. I feel like I'd rather find $100 more and get to Elliott. But damn, I'm not against it. I think it's wild seeing him at this number for sure. But I also agree that Salkilled does just look like the real deal. I think he could get contend for a title one day. I don't really see any flaws in his game. I don't know how Dariush beats him. I would think that it would be he beats him in minutes because Salkilled looks more dangerous to me. But I think Salkild's the better wrestler. I think he, at this point in their careers, is the better striker too. So for me, it's going to be Salkilled or pass. I would play Dariush. The more lineups I make, then the more interested I am in playing them. But 20 might not be enough.
I agree with that. Like, give me Dariush over Ollie Schmid. Give me Dariush over Thicknesse or Vince Morales. Give me Dariush over Gerald Meerschaert. So at least I already said a couple guys that I'd rather him over. But at the end of the day, I could fade all of them in limited lineups. And I plan to do that with most of my teams. But if Dariush wins, I think he does score. It's just, I don't see him winning. Salkild's a monster. I agree with you. Future title contender? Yeah, I guess I wouldn't be shocked. It would be pretty cool. And I love his Baker tattoo. When he John Anik talking about how his family owns a bakery and he just head kicks him right on that cue. And then I think he got a tattoo on that foot that he knocked him out with of like something like that. So pretty cool stuff there. I'm excited. How much do you think Salkilled wrestles in this one?
I would guess he has at least a 2.5 takedown prop.
Yeah, I mean, you can see on the stone, 7.95 per 15 minutes, 5.16 significant strikes per minute. Any Malkoun team can go to Salkilled. Any Rahiki team can go to Salkilled. Before we go to the main event, actually, I want you to rank those three: Malkoun, Salkilled, and Rahiki.
Dang. All right, I would say for the price, I'll take Rahiki, then Malkoun, then Salkilled. But Malkoun has, I think, the highest ceiling of all of them. I think if any of them are going to get 8 takedowns, it would likely be him. I mean, Salkilled has it in him too, but against a guy like Dariush, that'd be super impressive.
It really would. I got it Salkilled, Rahiki, Malkoun, mainly kind of because of the price, but also I'm telling myself that Malkoun's not going to go out and wrestle the grappler. Like, I'm just going to really hope that, I mean, where's GM3 going to win the fight? If he does, it's on the mat. So why do that? And 9,800 is a big boy price tag. All right, we got one fight left. Again, let me get over to shippingnation.com. My mic was cutting out and all that earlier, so it's been good. Hopefully this transition can be smooth, but you do see right above on our banner an all-access special. You get SaberSim, you get the Discord the first month, $49. And we got 6 sports going on: NBA playoffs, PGA and PGA Showdown, MLB, MMA, NASCAR, and the NHL playoffs. Phenomenal deal. SaberSim, the best optimizer around. We got the best Discord around and content for all sports, projections, and ownership. If you want to try it for cheaper for 5 days, bottom left, join the nation. You can get in for 5 days for $19. Again, SaberSim and Discord are included. If you're just playing MMA and you do not play all the other sports, we do have single sport options as well. Single sport MMA, less than $1 a day. You can get all of our content. Even cheaper if you're with us for the long haul for the annual, and only $20 more for the month to get you SaberSim as well. It really helps if you were building a lot of teams. Makes it easy to see your exposures, to mess with your min-max, your projections, all of that good stuff. So we would absolutely love to have you. Definitely do get in the Discord if you do join. Main event time. I am very excited for this one for real life. For DFS, though, it doesn't always translate. So two very good strikers. Carlos Prates, -115. Jack Della Maddalena, -105. -215 for this fight to finish. We have Prates at +135 inside the distance. Jack Della +195. I will let you lead this one to start as you have a 3-star all the way around.
Yeah, looking forward to this fight from a watching purpose. I think both these guys are really exciting strikers. Going to be a fun fight to watch. Maybe even bet on if you have an edge in this one. But I don't really feel like I have an edge in either one. I do think it's going to stay on the feet for almost the entire fight. And if it doesn't end in the first or the second round, I think it might not be on the optimal lineup. So I'm going to hope that it doesn't make the optimal, and I'll target all these other fights that we really loved on the card and hope that the optimal's already settled by the time that we get here, and then I'll be sweating a low score. Because I feel like any Prates team I make, I got to almost duplicate it and put JDM in there too, because that's how little of a lean I have on either side. I think that Prates is the more dangerous striker, more tools in his striking toolbox, taller, longer. But JDM is the higher paced striker, the better boxer, the guy who needs to get on the inside, make this more of a dirty fight. And I also think he would be the more likely wrestler of the two. So I just don't know, man. I could see it going either way. JDM was a slight underdog when I was doing pick. He was +110, so that was enough for me to pick him by split decision. Had it been Prates +110, I would have picked him. So I really just have no lean in this one. I want to watch it and enjoy it as a fan and hope that it scores 80 points. But give me JDM as my pick to win.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I have the optimal already, that I'm fading like 100 from either guy, and then I'm watching it just cheering for a low score. It will be scary cheering for it to be a low score with how dangerous Prates is, with Jack Della's upside in terms of volume. If he does start taking over, Prates loves his SIGs. If he starts to slow down in a 25-minute fight and Jack Della starts turning it on and getting downhill, somehow later in the fight, Jack Della does start wrestling, like you mentioned. I mean, there's clearly pass for the optimals. 8,200 8K, but it's going to come with a lot of ownership like it always does. And it's, competing with a lot of really good fights right around it. We talked about Brando Gaziv, -800 to finish. Johnston Schultz, -600 to finish. Even the Tuivasa Sutherland, Tafa Christian. Like, if Christian wins, give me Christian over Prates or Jack Della in terms of upside. So I think there's just plenty of ways to get away from it. I picked Prates just because I agree. I think he has more tools in his arsenal. Man, he's just so nasty, the power. But like you said, where I'm torn is if Prates does slow, like Jack's volume advantage is so much more. Prates isn't just going to put it on him for like 50 significant strikes every round, where Jack could try and really push the pace, try and slow Prates down, and then he'll get points in bunches with a lot of volume. But bigger cage, which also makes me a little more safe to fade this striking match. I hope Prates just bounces around. His teep kicks are really nice. I mean, he's just such a fun striker to watch. But over 3.5 is -158. If this fight does go over 3.5, I don't think they're going to throw an insane amount of volume, at least the Prates side, where I do feel comfortable being underweight on this fight. It's a coin flip fight, so you have to parlay getting the winner right and then them scoring enough and outscoring a very high-scoring card is how I see it. So I don't think I've ever wanted to be underweight on so many main events in a row. We've had some work, like the Malat stuff. I can't remember all of them. We had some not work, like Aljo last week, but obviously that's a different fight in the sense of we knew Aljo wanted to wrestle. In this fight, I don't think either really wrestles too much, as the stone does show. Anything else you want to add to that one, or any final thoughts before we get on out of here? 13 fights in Perth, Australia.
No, man, that's it. Get those lineups in early, 4 a.m. Eastern start time. Hopefully I'll have a sweat when I wake up. Good luck to you, Title. Good luck to everybody listening. Let's ship it.
Let's ship it is right. I do want, if you're on the East Coast or any American time zone and you are going to be up for the fights, let me know in the YouTube chat. I want to know who the real ones are out there. Again, I almost always have been in the past. Life has changed a little bit with the little one. I'm flying tomorrow, so I'm back home. Has stuff to do on Saturday, so unfortunately I will not be able to, but I will be up in the morning to catch the main card or whatever fights are still left, hoping to have a sweat. Mateus, hope you're doing well. YSN, always good to see you. Like button, subscribe button on the way out. Helps us out a ton. And again, make sure to get those lineups in Friday night or set your alarm for an early 4 a.m. Eastern start time. That's going to do it for us. Always good talking fights with you, Big Marley. You have a great weekend. Everybody else, you as well. Be safe. Good luck. For Big Marley, I'm Titletown. Peace.